Hello, how you doing? This is Fred Magee. I'm a retired officer from the Anne Arundel County Police Department. I was hired the August the 1st, 1959, and I was went to the academy there in January 1960. And then after graduating from the academy, I went on patrol in the Linthicum area. Well, I moved all about for a few years, but at the morning in question in February 1964, I'm sorry, 74 it was, I was assigned to the 201 car, which was the Linthicum area and Dorsey area. And we received a call shortly after I went on shift, and to respond to the airport. An officer needs assistance. There was attempted hijacking, and when I got there, Butch Troyer, which we all called him, but that wasn't his real name, but he had already been on the scene. He was working part-time at the time, and he had heard the shot when he was up to the coffee shop, and he ran down, and that's when he found Officer Ransberg on the ground, been shot in the head. And Butch then pursued the hijacker when the man there told him that he went down to get on the plane. He's going to hijack the plane. Then Butch ran down, and he took a few shots with his gun, but nowhere could his bullets penetrate into the airplane. So Butch returned and took Officer Ramsberg's .357 Magnum and ran back to the plane. After he was there, and a few minutes or so, I arrived shortly on the scene, and I parked at the gate on the opposite side and run up the ramp and come into the building that way. And then Butch had run back, and he had looked to see if there was any help here. At that time, him and I ran down the ramp, and we took a position down the boarding ramp, and then an Officer Todd from the airport police department had come and assisted us, and we was there for a while. And Butch had said that he thought he shot him because he seen what he thought was him. They come up past the door. He was putting a bomb down at the entrance of the door to attempt to blow the plane up, because he knew after he shot the pilot and co-pilot that there was no chance of him getting off the ground with the tires being flat. Lieutenant Miller arrived on the scene, Lieutenant Charles Miller, and he was with the 5 or 6 officers down on the lower level, and he gave an order for to blow the tires. The officers used to blow the tires out so the airplane couldn't leave, and Butch and I and Officer Todd decided we got to get in the plane. We got to take this plane back before it got off the ground. And we ready to go down to the lieutenant to come on up. And as we opened the door, and I went into the pilot's quarters where they were sitting in there, the cockpit, and Butch and Officer Todd took up a position to the rear of the plane, facing the rear of the plane from the front of the plane, where they could control the situation. As we went in the door, there was a white male laying on the floor, gasping for breath. And that's obviously, at the time, we didn't know that was the individual, and that was trying to hijack it. But then, through investigation, we found out that was him, because none of us had seen him at first, what he looked like. But at that point, Lieutenant Miller come up, Lieutenant Charles Miller, and he took over the investigation. Me being a district officer at the time working the road, I had to respond back to my district and patrol my area. So after that, I have no detail other than what I have been told afterwards. And but Lieutenant Miller, Charles Miller, had all the information. When Lieutenant Miller arrived on the scene on the second floor where we were, we had secured the airplane just before that, and the passengers was bailing out the back of the plane going down the chute. That's when that young lady had hurt her back, injured her back, jumping on that ramp. But Lieutenant Miller come up and he ordered one of, I think that was Dale, it's been so long ago, Dale Smith, Ray Smith, I'm sorry, to take the attaché case was there, out in the runway away from everything. So they did that, they notified the bomb squad, and then I had to get back on patrol, so I left, and I was told later that it was a firebomb. It was gasoline in there, and his intentions was, what they thought was to carry out, to set the plane afire when he knew there was no chance of getting off the ground. At the time the bomb was deactivated, it was Fort Meade Bomb Squad that was summoned to the airport to deactivate that bomb. And also at the time, we did not have a SWAT team, and it was just the road officers that was involved in the taking back the airplane. When I went into the cockpit, I did know one of the pilot was dead, and the co-pilot was wounded. So then the medics were summoned at that point, which they were on the scene immediately. Officer Charles Troyer was very alert that day, and because of him, he saved a lot of lives. And sad to say that just about 2 or 3 years ago, we called him Butch. That's what everybody called him in the department. Butch passed away, and it's sad. And for his good work and good deed, the county police department named the training center Butch Troyer's Training Center, which was an honor in itself. Butch was there over 30-some years. We never did think he was going to retire, but finally he did. But he was a terrific guy, and he really did the county an honorable favor that day. The officer that George Ramberg got shot in the head was the first one shot on the scene that morning. He was a terrific guy. I knew him from working part-time with him over the airport. And he was a scoutmaster, and he was due to get married, I guess in a couple of months or less than a month. I can't remember, it's been so long ago. But the only thing was, he was such a terrific individual that it was hard to accept that, you know, what the guy did to him. And like I say, Butch was married, and he had children, and I lost touch with Butch after I retired in '85, and but I seen his wife not too long ago, and she reminded me that he passed away, and I said, yes, I heard that, and it was sad. But it was a horrible morning for all of us to see a comrade fall like that. and the young man didn't even have a chance to defend himself. And I said, "Where's the officer?" And he hollered, "He's down there at the airplane." And that's when I ran. Butcher hollered for help, and that's when I ran down in there and to assist him. And then also Tide, of course, come in later. And also Tide later retired from the fire department at BWI. He was a law enforcement officer at the time that this happened at BWI. I tell you, everybody was shook up. All the friendship officers and, of course, all of the county officers there was worked special detail there. We were all upset too because we all knew George Ransburg and he was a terrific guy, you know, and we all kept saying to ourselves, why him? Why was it him? You know, but it was sad, and I could only feel for his girlfriend and his mother and father at the time, because he was a well-known kid at his area that he lived in.